Everyone's playing the same slot machine nowadays. But in this game, you're not betting money. You're betting your mind. Walk through any Vegas casino at 3 a.m. Dead eyes, mechanical pools, nobody remembers how long they've been there. Now look at your screen time. Same thing. Except in the casino, you notice losing. This machine takes your time shamelessly and unnoticed. Can you name 3 videos you watched yesterday? 2. You scroll for 2 hours and you're destroyed. Brain fog and staying physically tired. And you're wondering, why am I so exhausted? I didn't run a marathon. I just watched people dance and make smoothies. 2,500 years ago, Buddhist monks were memorizing entire sutras with thousands of verses. Would you even maintain focus long enough to try that today? Actually, forget that. Do you even remember what you had for breakfast this morning? So what happened? Here are 7 neurological changes that explain why ancient humans could do things our brains can't anymore. Motivation da. Scientists studying TikTok users found that scrolling activates your brain reward system the exact same way gambling does. Same as video games, same as slot machines, every swipe floods your brain with dopamine. And your brain evolved this system to motivate survival behavior, such as eating, accomplishing things, connecting with people. But now, it's triggered hundreds of times a day with some content that's been engineered specifically to do it. And your brain can tell the difference between dopamine that serves your goals and that just keeps you scrolling. Meta, TikTok, YouTube, they've got teams of hundreds of engineers and psychologists running thousands of experiments every single day. What color makes you keep scrolling? What notification timing works best? And they are really good at their jobs. So your brain's competing against billion-dollar optimization machines and often loses. When you flood your brain with these quick dopamine hits hundreds of times a day, it adapts. It lowers the baseline for what counts as reward. Your dopamine tolerance literally skyrockets. So now, real-life stuff like reading, working, studying, pursuing your goals, it all seems like too much effort. It takes too long to get the dopamine hits when you could just pull out your phone and play the digital slot machine. You know you should work on your health, your relationships, your work, your goals, but your brain no longer finds them rewarding enough to start. Your capacity for rational motivation gets severed at root. And once that happens, your brain desperately seeks more stimulation. Here's where it gets worse: fragmented attention. So, your dopamine system's hijacked, your brain wants more hits. What do you think happens to your attention? I still read every day, but now, compared to just a few years ago, I always feel this pull. Maybe check your phone real quick. Short-form content trains your brain for fragmented attention. 15 seconds, quick cuts, new faces, swipe, new topics, swipe, different audio, swipe. Your brain's RAM gets overwhelmed trying to process all this rapid switching. Studies actually tracked this. They looked at brain activity before and after heavy social media use. The attention circuits got measurably weaker. It's like a muscle that atrophies when you don't use it. Deep concentration, learning something complex, following a long conversation without getting distracted, all of it becomes much harder if you are spending hours of your day scrolling. And attention is your connection to reality. It's how you perceive what's happening around you, process information accurately, and understand cause and effect. Without sustained attention, you can't think rationally. You're just reacting to whatever loudest, whatever most immediate, whatever grabs you first. You lose the ability to focus on what actually serves your life. Fragmented attention leads directly to the third problem. And this one explains why you feel so drained. Mental exhaustion. These videos might be short, but they are insanely information-dense. Music, text, stories, movement, faces, colors, sounds, all hitting your brain at once. For your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, processing this rapid flood of unrelated information is so exhausting. This type of content literally drains your cognitive resources, the mental capacity you use to focus, memorize, and form concepts. So you end up mentally destroyed, but you haven't accomplished anything. Not much energy left for creativity, problem solving, anything that matters. Brains at 3% before lunch. That was the strategy? You haven't written one email, hadn't one real conversation, or solved one actual problem, but you're destroyed. If you're spending your mental energy on content you won't even remember tomorrow, don't expect to make much progress compared to what you could do if you save that energy for things that truly matter. And when your brain is this fried and exhausted, the fourth mechanism kicks in: persistence death. What happens to your ability to stick with anything at this stage? You learned you can feel good in 15 seconds. Swipe, hit, so the idea of waiting weeks, months, years for the payoff of a big goal? Your brain just says absolutely not. This is why people struggle to stick with anything nowadays, even when they manage to start. They're gonna learn guitar. Day 1, super motivated. Day 2, fingers hurt. Day 3, back on TikTok watching other people play. They say they're gonna build something, create something, become someone. But their brain now only responds to instant rewards. This is fundamentally anti-rational. Your hijacked reward system is overriding your conscious values. You know what you should be doing. You can see the long-term benefit, but you're enslaved to the algorithm's dopamine delivery system. Everything worth having requires delayed gratification. Meaningful relationships, career achievement, creative projects, physical health, financial stability, none of these give immediate rewards. They require consistent action over time towards a distant goal. But when you don't control your scrolling time, you can start things, but you can't stick with them if the reward is distant. But what happens when even that content stops delivering satisfaction? When quick hits stop working? The fifth mechanism comes into play: emotional numbness. I've noticed this in people, sometimes in myself, when I scroll too much. Things that should feel meaningful just don't. I've got a friend who's super addicted to Instagram Reels and TikTok. She told me recently, life feels so dull lately. Of course life feels so dull lately. You're used to experience 10 different emotions in 19 seconds. That's not how real life works. When you're scrolling, you're in an emotional roller coaster. Dog-eyed tears, comedy beat, laughing, political outrage, angry, attractive person, aroused, sad story, tears again, dance strength, something else. Your limbic system, the emotional center, adapts to a new baseline caused by excessively cheap and pleasurable stimuli. Now you require social media just to feel normal, just to feel something. And when you remove it, you actually feel bad and can't enjoy less stimulating experiences. It's a vicious cycle. Feel flat, scroll more to feel something, scroll more, feel flatter. And why it's horrifying is because emotions are our response to reality. That's how we define if something serves our life or threatens it, if we move towards our values or away from them. Pleasure and satisfaction are the signals that we're living in alignment with what matters to us. But when we can't feel our own life, when our emotions in our daily life are not, we lose the feedback system. We can't tell what's valuable to us anymore. But wait, your brain's not done breaking yet. Memory debt. We can spend hours scrolling, and the next day, we don't remember anything. Memory needs two things: encoding and consolidation. Your brain needs sustained attention to move information from short-term to long-term storage, to actually form concepts and understanding. But when you are switching context every 15 seconds, your brain never gets the chance. It's like trying to take a photo while moving the camera. Nothing captures clearly. So you are consuming massive amounts of information but retaining basically nothing. Your mind becomes this transient chaos of data that just disappears almost immediately. And you can't build knowledge that way. Can't reflect, can't learn to the same extent you could before all the scrolling. The funny thing is that people don't even notice until you point it out. They think they are staying informed or learning things. But the tiny percentage of educational content can't compete with the vast majority of noise and distracting garbage that keeps you scrolling. And without memory, you can't build an identity. Your sense of self, your values, your understanding of who you are and what you want, all of that requires being able to reflect on your experiences, learn from them, integrate them into a coherent worldview. But if you can't remember anything, if your mind is just this stream of disappearing content, what are you building? Who are you becoming? And when you can't remember, can't focus, can delay gratification, the final mechanism becomes inevitable: deep thinking depth. Over time, you literally lose the capacity for deep thought. You can't follow complex arguments, can't sit with difficult ideas and work through them. You were trained to just skim the surface of everything, as short-term content doesn't require processing or analysis. You just receive it, respond emotionally, and move on. When you avoid deep content long enough, those neural pathways responsible for complex thoughts become less active. And your brain has this important rule: what you don't use, you lose. And right now, you're practicing losing hours of your life for nothing. This is what really got me, because our mind is our survival tool. If our capacity for rational thought gets destroyed, we can't navigate reality. We can't tell the difference between what's true and what's engineered to manipulate us. Can't think long-term, can't plan, can't build toward anything meaningful. We just gradually become passive receivers, instead of taking our life seriously, rationally, and responsibly. The choice is your responsibility. Your life is literally the sum of what you pay attention to. If you're paying attention to distractions designed to extract profit from your engagement, that's what your life becomes: just a series of dopamine hits that serve someone else's bottom line. But if you protect your attention, your focus, and your capacity for deep thoughts, you get to build a meaningful life you always want. Look, I'm not gonna tell you to delete TikTok or Instagram right now and never scroll again. But what you can do is staying aware. Notice when you're being intentional versus when you're just escaping. Track your usage. Keep those apps off your home screen. Those 5 seconds of friction can be enough to make you stop and ask yourself, do I actually want to do this with my life? Your brain is your responsibility. It's the most valuable asset you have to achieve a happy life. Basically, it's all you have. It's you. So next time you feel that urge to randomly grab your phone, ask yourself, is this how I want to spend my life? Not tomorrow, right now, this moment. Because this moment is your life. If you made it to the end without checking your phone, congrats. Seriously. See you next time. Go read something, learn something, build something, or scroll. Your choice. But now you know exactly what you are choosing.